This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, not to sound like a broken record, but after all, we've been saying it for the past 49 years. Hi there, welcome to the Georgia Farm Monitor. So glad you tuned in. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy, our last show for the month of June, and here's what's coming up. As it enters its third month of existence, see how the new Georgia Agricultural Commodity Commission for Vegetables is already proving to be beneficial to producers. Also, are we any closer to finding a cure for spotted wilt virus? Mark Wildman spends the day with researchers at UGA Tifton and shows us the steps they're taking in hopes of someday wiping out this devastating crop disease.
Plus, who says watermelon can only be eaten cold and in slices? Today on Meals from the Field, we're throwing it on the grill and using it to create this refreshing summer drink. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, as we begin, vegetable growers with lots of acreage around the state already aware of the new marketing order that went into effect May 1st. We recently caught up with one producer that is certain of the checkoff benefits. In the middle of a busy harvest season for several vegetable crops, Dick Miner stopped long enough to show us his operation near Andersonville, Georgia.
Sure, here we're mechanically harvesting green beans for fresh market, and these machines will pick it for us, and then we'll dump it into trailers and carry it to a packing house where it is run through several separation machines, and then we've got hand labor on a line that packs it, grades it, and packs it.
Miner is a former president of the Georgia Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association and still an active member of the commission. He said the recent approval of the marketing order by eligible growers in the state is a tremendous help with research, education, and promotion.
As you notice in the commission, we've expanded into 4 new crops: broccoli, carrots, sweet potatoes, and beets. And that just shows how our industry's growing. And we're adding more crops in Georgia, and that takes research and education to grow that part of our industry. And we hope that the vegetable industry is going to continue to grow. And as it grows, it's going to take more and more research to satisfy the needs of the growers.
The executive director of the association, Charles Hall from LaGrange, told us the assessment applies to producers with over 50 combined acres annually of specified crops.
The last marketing order, the one that we're in process now, covers 14 different vegetables. And those vegetables include bell peppers, specialty pepper, beans, broccoli, beets, cabbage, cantaloupe, carrots, cucumber, eggplant, greens, squash, sweet potato, and tomatoes. To be covered under this marketing order, you have to grow at least 50 acres of any of the covered acres annually. So if you're growing 50 acres of peppers in the spring and 50 acres of squash in the fall, you would be paying the assessment on those 58, those two commodities. Yeah.
The new marketing order is valid for 3 years. Vegetable growers can pay the assessment, or it's taken out of the settlement of vegetables sold.
Right, after the failed referendum in 2014, we appreciate the Georgia Department of Agriculture and Commissioner Gary Black, along with Georgia Fruit and Vegetable and Executive Director Charles Hall, in really getting the ball rolling to get us in motion to get a new referendum set up for 2015 and make the growers aware of the complacency that caused the previous referendum to fail. And now that we have in 2015 with the passage of this new referendum, we feel certain the growers have been educated and understand the importance of these commission dollars and how it's going to help our industry in the future.
All right, moving on now. As our way of recognizing dairymen across the state, every year the Georgia Farm Bureau hosts Dairy Day at GFB headquarters. For the folks at Sudia, it's an opportunity to not only show off their products, but to also share important information about the industry and the benefits of milk and milk products. Those who dropped by were given a spin at some free gifts, and of course they also got to sample some of the many fine dairy products.
We need all the exposure that we can get, you know, and to let people know what dairy does for you, how good it is, how healthy a food it is, it's nutritious, and you know, we just need that in our diet.
Meantime, here in Georgia, peanuts generate over $800 million to the state's economy. Therefore, it is vital that the crop is healthy and producers stay profitable.
Yeah, one of the biggest threats to the crop is a disease called Tomato Spotted Wilt Virus, which can literally wipe out a crop. Mark Wildman has a story on how important work is now being conducted at UGA to combat this disease.
Out in the peanut fields of Georgia, producers like to see healthy crops. Over the years, peanut yields have risen greatly, and the farmers are able to harvest the best peanuts in the world. But some of the most important work being done with peanuts takes place in buildings like this one at UGA's Tifton campus. Here at the entomology department, Babu Srinivasan is researching tomato spotted wilt virus, which can devastate a peanut crop.
Tomato spotted wilt virus has been a big problem for Georgia's agriculture. It's just tens of millions of dollars that we've lost over the last 15-20 years.
His research centers around thrips.
These are minute insects, I would say 1 to 2 millimeters long. So they actually are present everywhere. There are over 7,000 species of thrips. It's just that we don't pay attention to them. But what we are concerned about is only a handful of those, especially in the southeastern U.S. We are concerned only about 2 or 3 different species. And we are concerned mainly about them not because of the feeding damage that they cause on plants, but also the viruses they transmit.
Farmers follow a variety of different strategies to control their risk for the virus, which include planting certain varieties and making sure they plant at the right time. But the study here is using a technique called transcript optics.
And what we basically do in this process is come up with a number of genes that are available in an insect at a given point in time, and we actually then screen these genes or identify these genes to see if we can use them for pest management, exploit them for pest management at a later on time period. Granted that the research that we do now is actually it's just starting. It may take many number of years before we can actually exploit this for pest management, but it's something that we can actually use later on. It has been used in other systems, and by doing this we can reduce the amount of pesticides that are used in the field, and we can also use other pest management tactics.
The work being done here is being done with funds from the peanut industry. Every year, the peanut farmers give back a certain percentage of the money they earn off their crops to fund important research projects.
Most of our funding comes from the National Peanut Board as well as the Georgia Peanut Commission, and some of our funds also come from USDA. So all these are very important partners for us as far as doing research is concerned. It's most of their money that actually goes into funding our research.
This project is just one of the many ways science is helping farmers grow healthy crops while reducing the amount of chemicals needed to control pests. In Tifton, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, still to come on today's Monitor, a trip to the kitchen and some tips from the Georgia Beef Board that'll help you have a 4th of July party that'll be the talk of the neighborhood.
And of course, Kenny, you know what goes good with grilled beef?
What's that?
Watermelon. When we come back, Marcia Crowley with some of the many different ways to prepare it. Grilled, chopped, diced, minced. The list is endless.
Wow.
Meals from the field when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues. Stay with us.
My name is Angel Ruiz. I am from the Clinch County FFA chapter, and I'm currently serving as the 2015-2016 South Region State Vice President. I grew up pretty much around honeybees my entire life. My family owns a business called Bee Sweet Honey Company, and it was originally started by my grandfather's father. And so my grandfather, Jimmy Ruiz, took over, and then now recently my uncle, Randy Ruiz, has taken over the business. Around my 8th and 9th grade year, I really made it a point to try to find myself. I was really active into the varsity cheerleading squad, but I really didn't feel like I belonged there. So as I was trying different things throughout the year, I stumbled across the FFA, and I remember my first experience was the Green Hand Jamboree, and I remember it was just a life-changing experience. And then I attended the state convention, And I saw how the state officers really impacted the students, and I knew that's exactly where I wanted to be.
To learn more about the National FFA organization, log on to ffa.org.
"80 years ago, large areas of rural America did not have electricity. But then the Rural Electrification Act of 1935 helped change that by providing loans to install electrical distribution systems in rural America.
President Roosevelt believed that rural America deserved a chance to grow and thrive as our urban communities did. They were not going to be able to do that without basic infrastructure and electricity.
USDA took over rural electrification in 1939. Today, USDA's Rural Utilities Service maintains energy-efficient electric systems, water systems, and access to broadband internet service. USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is saving farmers a road trip to the field office with its new Conservation Client Gateway.
I can stay home and get on the website, and if I have a question or concern, or I can log into the system and get things done.
Conservation Client Gateway allows farmers internet interaction with NRCS.
I send in a request for assistance and take a picture of it, figure out where I'm at with GPS, and so that they can locate exactly where it's at.
And now there will be fewer road trips to the field office just to sign paperwork. For more information, go to www.nrcs.usda.gov. For the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I'm Bob Ellison.
All right, and welcome back to the Georgia Farm Monitor and to a history-making edition of Meals from the Field. Why do I say history-making edition? Because for the very first time, we are talking about watermelons. Welcome back, everybody. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, Marcia Crowley, our home economist specialist. And it's funny that we've never done watermelons, especially in June.
It really is, because Georgia is 4th nationally in watermelon production, which is huge.
Right.
And Cordele is the watermelon capital of the world.
And when we were talking that we've never done watermelons, because after you do so many things like we do, you kind of lose track of all the recipes that you've cooked. And it's like, wow, we've never done watermelons.
Never done watermelon.
What do we have here? And it looks
right.
like it's very versatile too.
It's very versatile. I tend to think people think of watermelon just eaten fresh, just a slice of watermelon, but it's way more versatile than that. So I'm going to get you to grill again. This is grilled watermelon, and I have put sea salt on these slices and let them just sit for like 15-20 minutes to kind of get some of the moisture out. Brush them with olive oil, and I find you can do this on a grill, but I think you have more control with a grill pan. I probably need to turn that up just a little bit.
You can find these grill pans in it, because I've been looking for one, by the way. You can find them everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
all right, here, Ray, I'm going to let you go ahead and do that, and I'll go ahead and brush the other side.
Okay.
And you're going to grill this about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, just till you start getting grill marks. And I was doing this before y'all got here, and Mark and I decided it smells like cotton candy. Here, I'll take that out of your way.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I did something stupid here. I forgot to put it on the side that you lathered up, as I like to say.
That's all right. You can't go wrong.
There you go.
And we're going to keep that, keep your tongs.
Now, with watermelon, I know with poultry, you don't really want to put it back in the same dish that you... You can do that with watermelon.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
All right, we're going to let that cook for a few minutes on each side. The next thing is a watermelon salad. This is so good.
Okay.
This is 6 to 8 cups of cubed watermelon. We're going to add to that 4 ounces of feta cheese.
You know what they say about feta, right?
That's right.
What
everything's
is it?
Better and everything's better and better is what I was going to say.
Yeah, everything's better and better, but everything's better with feta.
Especially if you're in Matter, right? All right, watermelons are high in vitamin A, antioxidants, and virtually no fat, so they're pleasing on any diet.
And not to confuse anybody, but this is not a fruit. Actually, watermelon is a vegetable.
That's what they say.
Yes, it's in the cucumber family.
Yes, it is. All right, we're going to kind of stir that up a little bit. That was a cup of Vidalia onion.
Okay.
A cup of chopped fresh basil.
It's been about 3 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and flip them.
There you go. 2 tablespoons of fresh mint. and about 1/4 of a cup of fresh cilantro chopped up. And the dressing on this is 6 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. And you're going to throw that on top of it. And the thing about this salad, though, you can't really make it that far ahead of time because it'll obviously get soggy.
Okay.
And then you just stir that up and serve immediately. It is delicious.
And it's not that hard to make, and it takes you probably about 5 minutes, so you can go ahead and get all your ingredients ready when everybody's arriving, and then right before you serve, I guess you can go
could
ahead
cube up the watermelon like the day ahead.
Okay.
And keep it in the fridge, of course.
And while you're stirring that, I have to bring these little things over because they are phenomenal looking.
That is watermelon lemonade.
Look at that.
It's very good, and what that is, and this recipe will be on the Farm Bureau website, it is a simple sugar, which is equal parts of water and sugar.
Okay.
Simple syrup, I'm sorry, which is 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of sugar, about 4 cups of watermelon that has been pureed, and 1/2 cup of fresh lemon juice, and it is so good.
And it has to be in a Georgia grown glass.
Of course.
It has to be in a Georgia. I bought you a drink.
Oh, thank you.
So cheers.
Cheers.
You have to try this.
It's very, very refreshing.
Oh my, that is really good.
It's a good summer drink, isn't it?
That is really good.
All right, when you're selecting a watermelon, there are a couple of easy things to look for. A lot of people think you should thump it.
Right.
But according to the National Watermelon Board, it's got to be heavy, since it's 95% water.
Okay.
No blemishes or bruises. And then the bottom should be somewhat yellow, meaning that it kind of ripened on the vine. That one have
like that?
You did have to pick that one up. It doesn't, there you go.
Here we go. This is a good. Now this is a. Oh, there we go.
That's a good.
That's a good watermelon. See the bottom of it, a little yellow.
And it's heavy.
It's very heavy. It's got a little handle you can carry. No, I'm kidding. Don't want to carry that thing around. That's good though. That's good watermelon.
But Georgia watermelons are in season just in time for the 4th of July.
Well, Marcia, as always, we cannot thank you enough.
You.
And everybody, of course, you can find all these delicious recipes by logging on to gfb.org/recipes. Everything is there in detail for you. Again, pretty much anything you want to do with watermelon, you can do as long as you put your mind to it. So, anyway, Marcia, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ray.
And we will see you again next month.
All right, Ray, Marcia, thank you so much. Well, as far as cookouts go, you can't just serve watermelon, right? When we come back, some recipe tips from the Georgia Beef Board just in time for the 4th of July. Stay with us.
I'm Suzanne Bentley with the Georgia Beef Board, and I'm here today in the Georgia Cattlemen's Association Culinary Kitchen, and we are prepping for our 4th of July celebration. We are getting ready with some kebabs, and we're going to talk about how we did them today. You may not have heard about meatball kebabs, but we tried something a little bit different with those today, and we have your standard steak kebabs. We got our grill going at about a medium heat and started assembling these this morning. And what we did was we got some steak chunks. You can cut up different cuts of steak, or you can get just your stew meat already cut up at your local grocery store. We started assembling them with those cut up, as well as the zucchini and the purple onion. We marinated that with some balsamic vinaigrette and salt and pepper, and then we twisted that to get every side fully coated and marinated about every 15 minutes. Once we got those ready, we set those skewers aside and we started assembling our meatball skewers. And these kebabs are great because it takes your traditional party finger food, which is your meatballs and grape jelly and chili sauce that you'll find sometimes at parties. And we put those on the skewer with the green pepper and the red pepper. And then we put some of that sauce over the peppers while we were grilling those. And again, we put both of these kebabs on the grill at about a medium heat. And we kept turning them every minute or so. You don't want to get them too done. Of course, the meatballs, if you are taking them from frozen, they are already cooked thoroughly. So you're just kind of warming those up. The steak, you don't want to overdo it. You're looking for about a medium rare, which is 145-degree internal temperature. So keep that at the most maybe a minute on each side and keep turning. Once you see some of those grill marks and you see that steak getting the outside color of a little bit of brown. The inside's probably still really pink, and that's perfect. So about 3 minutes, take those off the grill and you can celebrate with family and friends. For more recipes, head on over to beefitswhatsfordinner.com and gabeef.org.
And finally today, every year, commissioners, secretaries, and directors of agriculture from all over the Southeast gather to discuss issues facing their industry.
Yeah, and this year it was held right here in the state of Georgia. Damon Jones was there and tells you how this event benefits the industry.
13 different states were represented at this year's SASDA meeting. The Southern Association of State Departments of Agriculture puts together this event each and every year, and this time around, Georgia was chosen as the spotlight state, with Commissioner Gary Black serving as the organization's chairman in 2015.
We're very excited about being able to, kind of wrap up and be a part of this as we I hope they carry home a good experience from Georgia, and we've got, a bright future ahead and look forward to working with them.
During this three-day event, these state representatives heard from a number of experts from all over the Southeast, discussing a number of different issues facing agriculture. And unlike previous meetings, the commissioners themselves also got a chance to speak and give an update on their own state's progress.
It's about what have they done, what's going well in their state, what's a new idea that's working well, maybe what's something that didn't work so well, and help other people not make that same mistake. So I think this time, particularly for the five of the summer meetings that I've attended, it's more of a hands-on workshop where we're actually trying to learn more from each other how to do our jobs better.
Well, we discovered that we have a lot of the same issues, even though we're in different states, and trying to solve some of our problems collectively. And we've been talking about some of that this morning with avian influenza, working with the land-granted university. So it's very helpful, and it's something that we all look forward to doing.
And that information sharing is very helpful when starting a new program such as Georgia Grown, which was launched just a few years back. And while it might not be as established as some of the older state branding programs, its rapid growth in a short amount of time is something the department wants other states to take notice of.
Some of these guys we've learned a little bit about on their state branding programs. We've watched what they've done, and we're delighted to celebrate that Georgia Grown's already passed all expectations that we have. We do want to make that impression and give a good report on where Georgia Grown is as far as the state brands, and we feel in a very good competitive position.
While there was plenty of business to discuss, the fellowship is just as important, as developing relationships around the region will only make the industry stronger.
Well, I think we in the South, we have a lot of course, kinship. And we form a lot of really good friendships along the way. And we know as commissioners, if we need help, these are the people that we can depend on.
As for the message Commissioner Black hopes these representatives take back to their home state,
the key importance of agriculture in our everyday life, and making sure that we're serving from the department, but we want that interaction with consumers to know that as agriculture goes, so goes the health of our entire economy, and that's a job that all this group here really takes seriously.
Reporting from Atlanta, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All righty, Damon, thank you, sir. Well, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and here on the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Hope you have a great week.